3 lawyers who once represented the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny were jailed Friday in Russia as part of the Kremlin's crackdown on dissent that has reached levels unseen since Soviet times. Vadim Kobzev, Igor Sergunin and Alexei Liptser were jailed from 3.5 to 5.5 years by a court in the town of Petushki, about 100 kilometers east of Moscow. They were arrested in October 2023 on charges of involvement with extremist groups, as Navalny's networks were deemed by authorities. As the sentence was passed, supporters in the courtroom shouted, "Guys, you are heroes. We are with you." The case was widely seen as a way to increase pressure on the opposition to discourage defense lawyers from taking political cases. At the time, Navalny was serving a 19-year prison term on several criminal convictions, including extremism. He died in a Russian prison camp in February 2023. The independent Russian newspaper Novaya Gazeta reported that Kobzev said in his final statement in court on January 10 that, "We are being tried for transmitting Navalny's thoughts to other people." According to Associated Press, Navalny's networks were deemed extremist following a 2021 ruling that outlawed his organizations, the Foundation for Fighting Corruption and a network of regional offices, as extremist groups. That ruling, which exposed anyone involved with the organizations to prosecution, was condemned by Kremlin critics as politically motivated and designed to stifle Navalny's activities. According to Navalny's allies, authorities accused the lawyers of using their position to pass information from him to his team. Navalny, an anti-corruption campaigner and outspoken opponent of President Vladimir Putin, was arrested in 2021 upon his return from Germany, where he was recuperating from a nerve agent poisoning he blamed on the Kremlin. He was ordered to serve 2.5 years in prison. After 2 more trials, his sentence was extended to 19 years. He and his allies said the charges were politically motivated and accused the Kremlin of seeking to jail him for life. In December 2023, Navalny was moved from a penal colony in the Vladimir region east of Moscow to one above the Arctic Circle, where he died in February at the age of 47 under still unexplained circumstances. His widow, Yulia Navalnaya, and members of his team alleged he was killed on orders from the Kremlin. Officials have rejected the accusation. 2 other Navalny lawyers, Olga Mikhailova and Alexander Fedulov, are on a wanted list but no longer live in Russia. Mikhailova, who defended Navalny for a decade, said she was charged in absentia with extremism. Kobzev, Liptser and Sergunin have been deemed to be political prisoners, according to human rights advocates from Memorial, Russia's most prominent rights group that won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2022. The group demands their immediate release.
Кобзев Вадим Владимирович предательного совершения преступления, предусмотренного частью 2 статьи 282 прим. 1 УК РФ, за которое назначить ему наказание в виде лишения свободы на срок 5 лет 6 месяцев с отбыванием наказания общего режима, с лишением права заниматься профессиональной деятельностью по оказанию юридических услуг на срок 3 года, с заключением свободы на срок 1 год. 12, 2, 368, 10, 23, 22, 90. Липтсер Алексей Евгеньевич предательного совершения преступления, предусмотренного частью 282 прим. 1 УК РФ, за которое назначить ему наказание в виде лишения свободы на 5 лет с отбыванием наказания общего режима, с лишением права заниматься профессиональной деятельностью по оказанию юридических услуг на срок 3 года, с лишением свободы на срок 1 год. 8, 10, 01, 7, 4, 2, 0, 52, 63, 2. Серегунина Игоря Сергеевича, предать виновного в совершении преступления, предусмотренного частью 282 прим. 1 УК РФ, за которое назначить ему наказание в виде лишения свободы на срок 3 года 6 месяцев с отбыванием наказания общего режима, с лишением права заниматься профессиональной деятельностью по оказанию юридических услуг на срок 3 года, с заключением свободы на срок 1 год. Осужденный, вам понятно принято решение?
Да.
Право обжалования понятно?
Да.
Судебное слово закрыто.
Уступите, сказал. Уступите.
Сегодня вынесен на наш приговор, который, на наш взгляд, является незаконным, необоснованным и несправедливым. К сожалению, это так. Мы не согласны с таким приговором, не можем согласиться. Я считаю, что у нас очень сильная правовая позиция. У адвоката вообще очень тяжелая работа, а когда ты защищаешь своего коллегу, это еще тяжелее, потому что ты не можешь не презюмировать эту ситуацию, проецировать эту ситуацию на самого себя, потому что ты адвокат, ты понимаешь, что происходит.
Israeli government spokesman David Mencer told Sky News on Thursday that there had been a walking away by Hamas from the ceasefire deal. There has been a walking away from certain aspects of this agreement to free our hostages, which was agreed to previously. But now Hamas have walked away, Mencer said. This deal cannot be brought to Israel's cabinet to vote on until it is finalized, he added. According to Associated Press, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said Thursday his cabinet won't meet to approve the agreement for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and the release of dozens of hostages until Hamas backs down from what it called a last-minute crisis. Netanyahu's office accused Hamas of reneging on parts of the agreement in an attempt to extort last-minute concessions. It did not elaborate. The Israeli cabinet was set to ratify the deal Thursday. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes across the Gaza Strip have killed at least 48 people over the past day. In previous conflicts, both sides have stepped up military operations in the final hours before ceasefires go into effect as a way to project strength.
The Israeli government wants this deal to be finalized, but only a finalized deal, which is agreed to on all sides, can be brought to Israel's cabinet. It cannot be a deal which is correct in some places and not in others. So what our Prime Minister has this morning, our office has this morning said, is that there has been a walking away from certain aspects of this agreement to free our hostages, which was agreed to previously, but now Hamas have walked away. I won't be sharing any of the details on air with you right now, but the Prime Minister's, our office statement has said that there remains disagreement. Some things which we thought were agreed have been changed, and until the agreement is finalized, again, with this jihadi organization, not famous for making agreements, plus we're in the Middle East, where in the last minute people try to get the best deal for themselves, this deal cannot be brought to Israel's cabinet to vote on until it is finalized.